All right, guys, welcome back to the latest episode of the Starting 11 podcast. It's Emilio Pena and Grant Rowland back here today. Every week, it seems to be an exciting week. Always some kind of controversy and everything going on. So let's just dive right into it. It's the Arsenal and Man City game. Pretty big matchup for obvious reasons. Both teams were the top two teams last year. This one was special significance as it was the first time the Arsenal had beaten Man City in the league since December of 2015. It's also the first time Manchester City has lost two consecutive games since December of 2018. So, two big streaks breaking there. It wasn't the most exciting game for the most part as far as goal scoring. 1-0 win for Arsenal, getting that win or getting that goal, I think, in the 92nd minute came really, really late. Gabriel Martinelli with the late sub, too. But where do we begin, Grant?
Seems like Arsenal won two games. I'm sorry for everyone listening. We had this planned out because I said it before we started recording that Arsenal won two games this weekend. They beat the refs and Manchester City.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it just didn't flow as well here. It was a little forced, but still applies, still true. Kovacic, I think a lot of people were complaining he should have been sent off on two separate occasions in that game. I know, did Saka end up playing that game? I don't remember.
No, he was out. I think that's
Yeah,
actually a third streak that broke because he had like a record for, I think, most consecutive starts in the league.
yeah, he didn't miss a start since like 2020, sometime in 2021, which is pretty impressive, especially as a young player. Obviously, like their legs, their body's not fully developed, so injuries are kind of more likely to happen. But yeah, what a big win for Arsenal. It kind of feels like when Liverpool really started like building that team with Klopp, like they just couldn't get past City. I felt like there was a few years there in the beginning of the Klopp era where it was just like Liverpool can do it all. They just like can't beat Manchester City. And then the first time it happens, like you just snap out of it and they're not like these giants anymore. And things like the playing against them and then titles just seem more attainable. It's like the final boss, but good for Arsenal. It's nice seeing looking at the Premier League table right now because it's all like it's really close. Brighton for the past, I don't even know how many weeks, were like right up there, and one bad performance, like they're dropping down into sixth, which is wild just considering how well Brighton have been, how good they've been playing. But yeah, Tottenham Hotspur in first place, which is very strange to say, even this early in the season. But I don't know. Love to see it. It's going to be an interesting year. But yeah, and again, another game without Rodri, another City loss. We can talk about we've talked about it before. The importance of like the Haaland, De Bruyne's, Ederson, Pep Guardiola, but it seems like that common denominator, that factor in the team is Rodri.
He's that engine of that midfield.
Yeah, he does everything. You need guys like that. Like obviously he does have his like screamers every once in a while or does something insane, but you do need like that Busquets doing all like the dirty work in the midfield to like take off pressure from that attack and let them do their thing. So if you're anti Man City, this is the best case scenario for you. Rodri being out, and yeah, like this is the time. I think we were talking about it last week because I kind of related it to
It's like
Real
Vinny being
Madrid.
out, right?
Yeah, like you got to take advantage of these opportunities, and Arsenal did, and good for them. And yeah, this is a big time to, I don't know, hopefully kick City while they're down a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. You kind of brought up like Rodri and like how he has that occasional screamer, but he's just like one of those big game players too. Like this game was kind of going the same way like the Champions League final was, where it's like 0-0 for a really long time. And who was the guy who got the goal for City? It was Rodri. Who knows what
Mm-hmm.
happens if he's playing today? He's kind of got that like mentality where if like things aren't working, he just takes the gloves off and contributes offensively a little bit more too. So it could have been like we talked about that Kovacic tackle, and it's like, Rodri's probably not big in that tackle. It's probably clean. He's recovering possession. You could say the same thing for, offensive, mentality too. So I think he's due to be back this next game. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to go on a run and pick up a lot of points. So it's up to these other teams to stay consistent with them too. And it seems like really the best chance to knock them off is by taking points from them directly. So yeah, much credit to Arsenal. Before we do move on, I did want to ask your opinion though. Two things really. The first one was David Raya being the goalkeeper. He's kind of gotten a few string of starts now. And early
Mm-hmm.
on, there was that moment where like he was being really slow with delivering the ball out to the midfield and with his distribution. And then Julian Alvarez, it looked like a goal at first. Like Alvarez just like snuck up on him and tried to catch him off his line, but no, it didn't really work, and it ended up being beneficial to have Raya out there because his distribution, like I sent that chart to you, and I'm looking at it right now. It says his
Hmm.
average pass length is like 35 meters, pass completion 72%, and this grid here, it's showing a lot of passes into the attacking third for them. So Arsenal didn't convert, but having that ability for them, do you think it's a game changer? Like, do you think like Ramsdale is ever going to make his way back in the lineup, or what do you think about their goalkeeper situation?
Yeah, I mean, originally I thought that David Raya signing was really strange because Ramsdale looked fine, but there's obviously a reason why they brought him in, and I think that distribution is the big reason. Because when you think like of the Pep Guardiolas and like the Jurgen Klopps, like that press is just relentless. Like I can't imagine you want to be playing directly to center backs and trying to play out of the back because they will catch you, especially with like the legs they can bring on. It's not like I don't know, they have like their like Liverpool and City have like their starters, but you always have like a second team on the bench, so they can just switch out the legs real easy. You still have the same quality in attack and can still do that relentless pressing the entire game. So I think that distribution is the big factor and why he's starting a ton. But also, I'm glad you brought his name up, Julian Alvarez. I think we need to really start having the discussion on Erling Haaland in these big games because this is another disappointing game. I know we talk about like I don't know Ballon d'Or because it's like kind of coming up and who deserves to win it, and there is the big group Morgan that thinks Erling Haaland deserves it, but I think because every year it seems like there's like a new factor, like we add in, like, oh, well, Ballon d'Or has to start considering this. I really think like we need to start considering how these players perform in big games because, yeah, Messi's in Miami now and it was the World Cup. They didn't do like PSG didn't do great, but think of the biggest competition in the world, like what Messi did in that tournament. And then I get like Arsenal is a good club, but like any big game Erling Haaland plays in is just gone.
Hmm.
And we need to have the discussion too that Julian Alvarez would be doing the same thing that Erling Haaland. Maybe not have the goals because Haaland's just like a physical, he's got the speed, strength, size, or whatever. But Julian Alvarez, I think, can do way more than him, like on ball, dropping deep, kind of creating for teammates, the passing and whatever. But those are two discussions I think we can I don't know, start really paying attention to this year as the season goes on. But
For sure. And I'm glad you brought that back up because, like, in the last game of the year that they played, Arsenal and City, William Saliba was out. So having him back, it seems like a major impact as far as shutting down Holland. Maybe some of these other center backs can take a page out of his book because it seems to be pretty effective. And like you said, Alvarez has been playing out of his mind. Like he's kind of been playing in that like center attacking mid cam 10, whatever you want to call it. And he's been able to like feed Holland, but Holland, I feel like isn't doing enough to help like play off each other. Cause like you were talking
yeah.
about like dropping back and like, it seems like that's what, like Bobby Firmino was really good at in his prime
Hmm.
Liverpool days, like feeding Salah and Mane. Like maybe Holland should just like start developing other aspects of his game.
Yeah. And this is like one of those like Pep buys players specifically for that style. Like that's what he wants Holland to do. But like at no point has he like been capable. And I like that you brought up Bobby Firmino because he's like a great example. Like he was never lighting up. I mean, he scored like a good amount of goals, but like you look at the assist numbers, like you looked
Mm-hmm.
how free flowing like those Liverpool attacks were. And I mean, I've never played center back at a professional level, but I'd imagine it's way harder to communicate with your line to mark a guy that can drop deep and you kind of lose track of him than Erling Haaland, who's just going to sit in the box. And he is going to win some because, again, just physical presence and how good City is. But when you play really good teams like Arsenal, that have a good center back. Like both of them are pretty good, but Saliba, like in particular, that can just completely mark him out of a game. Then the game is not being played. Like you cut off a third of the field. Now you're playing wide, trying to get those balls in, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
lot easier to defend than trying to play through the middle where you can do your little flicks, the runs coming in behind and stuff. So
And even then, like if Holland can perfect that, or even just get like really good at like dropping deep and like feeding the wingers, then it just like draws
mhm.
attention away from the center. So then that way they can send balls into him, and like that's where his bread and butter is, the finishing inside the box. So it's just a matter of putting it all together. I did remember what I was thinking of just a minute ago before I brought that up. I was going to say like we were talking about the Ballon d'Or, and it's really an arbitrary like process of determining who wins it. And
Hmm.
on ESPN FC, like Frank LaBeouf thinks Julian Alvarez should win that Ballon d'Or because it's like Champions League, FA Cup, Premier League, World Cup. It's
World
like,
Cup.
yeah,
Yeah. And that's the thing that's like frustrating with it. There's like no like clear like how we're gonna decide it. It's just like, I don't know, one year it's based off like trophies. One year it's based off like personal like goals and assists, like your personal numbers. One year it's a combination of both, like who knows? But
Before we move on, though, I wanted to just bring up the joke that on ESPN FC they were doing the bit where like Dan Thomas is asking like Jan Fjortoff about like how if Holland should win the Ballon d'Or, and he's kind of like doing his Dan Thomas routine, and then Stevie
yeah.
like called him out on it, and then Dan was like, I was just saying that I feel like international competition gets taken into this, and then Frank is just like Alvarez, and then they all just were like, shut up, Frank.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, uh that makes me I like you obviously can make the case for Julian Alvarez, but just considering Frank's, I'm never gonna trust any of his takes after Denmark going to the World Cup final or winning the
in
World Cup.
in Canada in the semis.
Yeah, that was rough. I don't know. He's a character.
It's fun to joke around and everything, but I hate to move on to something a little bit not demoralizing, just kind of
Yeah,
sucks the air out of the room. The 2-2 draw for Barca against Granada, is that right?
yeah.
That's it. Okay. I It looks like the country Grenada, so I just like got confused for a second.
Oh
But
yeah.
I mean, more importantly than the result, I feel like it sucks because Jules Koundé picked up that MCL sprain, which sounds pretty serious. At least like he's not going to be back in the short term. Fortunately,
Hmm.
there's this international break. He's probably not going to be doing anything with France, I doubt. So,
Hmm.
give him some time to rehab. The injuries just seem to be piling up for Barca. Do you think you guys will be able to keep up with the Reals of the world, or do you think it's just kind of focus on Champions League from here on out?
I'm curious because I don't think you like in the coach's mind, you obviously go into every game like wanting to win,
Of
like
course.
necessarily there's like, yeah, like a straight focus. But yeah, we're gonna have Lewandowski out for a little bit, gonna miss. I think we have a Clasico coming up. Not sure if it's in Barcelona or in Madrid, but it sounds like Frankie's gonna be out for that. And then Koundé, who like recently the last couple weeks has been like exceptional. Like this is the Jules Koundé when we bought him from Sevilla. We thought we were getting, not that he's played bad up until then, but he's had to play a lot of right back, and like he can play there, but he is strong. And I don't know, you really have started to see like that chemistry finally starting to being built with Araujo in the back. And I think I sent in our group message, I was like, I love our defense now with Cancelo, Balde, and then Araujo and Kunde playing back there. But yeah, it's tough. I think we can obviously keep up with the league. We have been weirdly conceding goals last year. I mean, our defense was like absolutely incredible. Even with our struggles this year, the defense was fine. But Granada going 1-0 up in like 17 seconds is kind of demoralizing. On the bright side, Lamine scoring his first goal, 16 years, and I think like 28 days, youngest goal scorer in La Liga history. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm not too concerned. Like you said, Champions League sometimes, weirdly enough, is more attainable to kind of progress further because, like, luck of the draw, it's only over two legs. It's not over the course of 38 games or however many games, depending on what league you are. So sometimes you just need to grind out a couple games and you can advance. But yeah, I'm not overly concerned right now. Real Madrid, we're gonna get to them later. There's a certain player on that squad that just somehow won't stop scoring, and it's getting frustrating because
Yeah.
they would be like they would have dropped, I don't know the exact number, but surely a chunk of points to make the league close, if not having Barca in first right now, but always finds a way. And it's just pretty impressive. And it's like cool to see because we haven't seen a midfielder score like that since probably like Lampard or something. But at the
Yeah,
same
we might as
time,
well
it's
just
like,
start
bro,
talking
come on.
about. We might as well just say his
Yeah.
name.
Yeah. Jude Bellingham again. A
Yeah, two
brace.
goals.
Wait, was it a brace?
Yeah,
Yeah.
two. The
And
4-0
all the
win.
jokes are, yeah, all the jokes are I've seen on like the meme pages that like, yeah, they're all tap-ins or like, oh, look at this Jude Bellingham goal, and it's someone like, I don't know, balls like whatever, just make fun of his tap-ins. But
Yeah.
like at some point, like he scored, like you're still scoring, you're still in the right position, they're still creating the chances for those tap-ins to happen. And it's
Right.
frustrating. It's just like, bro, come on, just no Jude in the last minute. I don't know how many like last minute Jude Bellingham goals my heart can take, because every week it's like, finally Real Madrid about to drop some points. We can close the gap, potentially take first. And then there he comes off a corner, off of whatever. And yeah, to be fair, it has been really impressive what they're doing with Joselu
Yeah.
up top. And even when he's
Joselu
not without a striker.
Mbappe, you
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, Joselu Mbappe. There you go.
No, but I think I saw something like where Jude's got 10 goals, I think, and 3
Yeah.
assists. And like I think it was Zidane's first year in Madrid was like 12 goals and 15 assists. And it's like, holy crap, he's super close to that goal
Already.
total. And like
Yeah.
surely he'll pass it, or the combination of the two, he'll be somewhere near it. And he's only 20 years old, so it's incredibly impressive. But their matchup with you guys is the 28th, so it is coming up. Hopefully, some of those guys can get healthy before that, because you never want to see these two giants playing each other with one of them at a deficiency or both of them at a deficiency. You want to see those Galacticos, those superstars playing.
And the other thing with Jude is like, obviously we don't see a lot of English players kind of go abroad, at least like especially big names. They're not young, obviously, like the Jadon Sancho's go to Dortmund, come back or whatever. Harry Kane, kind of whatever. That situation was weird, but we don't see it often. So you think like the time to adapt like the new culture, even though it's not really that far, but like Europe, all the different cultures, but just like adapting to a new, and he just has fit in seamlessly, like almost like too perfect. And as a Barcelona fan, it's annoying, but at the same time, you're like, he's really good. Like you can't help but
you see I think I saw like on Instagram, it's like Jude, Camavinga, like Tchouaméni, they're all like talking trash to each other about like their whoever's dance moves, and it's just like, it does suck because like rivalry for you, they were always beating up on Liverpool, so you don't want to see the camaraderie. But on the other side of the coin, like you don't want to be like this bitter person, and like, because at the end of the day, like you want to see everyone succeed. These guys are living their dream.
Yeah,
I think it's
for
so
sure.
introspective, but
I want to take a turn on the transition. I don't have the order up of what we're doing, but speaking of Camavinga, we have a Camavinga 2.0 and Olivier Giroud for AC Milan.
Yeah,
if not
no
better
kidding.
than Camavinga. Christian Pulisic on the score sheet. The Americans this week, by the way, had a really good week.
Was
I think
it
Tillman
an assist from Musa too, right?
Yeah, yep. So that was big. What's his name? Balogun in Monaco had a big goal against his former club.
Not going to celebrate.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Matt Turner did. I don't remember what happened with Nottingham, but I saw like a list, I think on the U.S. men's national team only Instagram page, or maybe it was Raj and Men in Blazers, that every week does like a recap of how the Americans performed. And yeah, it was like kind of like stupidly impressive, like really good week for the Americans. But back to Olivier Giroud and AC Milan. Big save.
Oh yeah, that was impressive. Like I don't know. He just like there was like, attackers coming in too. Like he did not have to do all that, but it's just really funny. And like ESPN's posting like, oh, Giroud has the like highest clean sheet percentage of the season, and like I guess you can go on Milan shop and buy like an Olivier Giroud goalkeeper kit.
Yeah, I guess they sold out.
I'm not surprised, because I'm sure all those Milan fans, all the French fans and everyone are probably trying to get it. And what's funny about the whole like joke too is like, I think Mike Mignon, or however you say, I think that's how you say it, Mike Mignon, the keeper who got the red card, he's like going to be the new French keeper with Lloris retiring. So if he does get a red card, it's just like you got Giroud there. If anything happens with Giroud, you got Camavinga there. So like they're really set. Like the Euros is going to be scary for them, as far as that goalkeeping presence.
Absolutely. And I saw a lot of pages, you can guess which pages they were, that have begged the question, is Olivier Giroud better than Andre Onana?
Jesus. Oh my God. That's so messed up.
That's horrible. But
it's so funny though too.
Yeah. Speaking of United, Scott McTominay.
Yeah, we should talk about that real quick.
Absolutely hated by United fans the last couple years, comes on, scores a brace, and I think both maybe were in extra time. Yeah, one
something like that.
Maybe outside, but to get them the win over Brentford. But
Harry Maguire with the assist too.
Are you serious?
No, seriously. The game winner, it was like Bruno had a set piece, and like McGuire just like heads it to like
Flicked it on.
McTominay, and then he just like heads it in.
Wow.
I was watching Flying Pig's reaction and everything, and he was going so crazy. It's
Yeah.
better when they lose, but like also it's nice to see him happy for once.
Yeah, I always say like you need them to like still have hope because that's what makes it funny. If you're completely like, yeah, this team sucks, like it's like, ah, that's not fun. It's like
Yeah,
the Chelsea fans. It's like that's why it's so fun because like Mudryk goes what 24 games without scoring. And they're like almost completely out on him, but then he scores and it's like, oh, maybe he's back and gives them hope, and then they
then they
do
beat.
whatever. But
They were losing to Burnley too. They fell 1-0 down, and then they
yeah,
stormed back 4-1 win. So all the Chelsea fans are claiming they're back until they lose. I think their next stretch of games, we're bouncing all over the place, but like Chelsea's
hmm
next stretch of games is pretty crazy. Let me check it out real quick. I got pulled up here. It's after this international break, they're gonna have Arsenal, then they're gonna have Brentford, and then they're gonna have Tottenham, then they're gonna have Man City, then they're gonna have Newcastle, then they're gonna have Brighton, and then they're gonna have Man United. Yeah,
yeah,
that's brutal.
yeah.
This is really where we're gonna see like who Chelsea is this season,
hmm
because they're either gonna drop a lot of points or they're gonna get some surprise results, and they're gonna build that form and build that confidence, and we'll see how far it takes them.
Yeah, absolutely. Because obviously you got to give like Poch time to like really implement his system or whatever. But yeah, we'll see, and we'll see how they handle adversity. How they kind of were going obviously through a really bad phase. Start of the year may have turned it around a little bit, but as soon as something starts to go bad, we'll see if they can like quickly snap out of those that way and start getting results and be the club like Chelsea should be.
I mean, they've been kind of decimated by injuries too. So, I mean, what they do have like 30 players that are eligible, probably first teamers. And it
Yeah,
seems like some of these guys are starting to catch a groove, like Cole Palmer scoring his first goal in the Premier League
yeah,
and for Chelsea. So,
yep,
Sterling scoring again, Jackson
yep. The
scoring
two
again.
Jamaicans.
Exactly. Yeah, the two Jamaican, Cole Palmer, Raheem Sterling.
English Jamaicans.
The last thing I think on the docket for today, I think we need to talk about pretty important is Bayer Leverkusen. They've just been on an absolute roll. They're sitting in first place in Bundesliga, which might seem shocking, but also like the way they finished last year and the way Xabi Alonso has coached this team, it's pretty nuts. Their only points dropped this year came to Bayern, and they're sitting at third, which is strange too. You got Stuttgart in second. It's been quite the year in the Bundesliga. We're gonna have to get like Evan on here and have him break it down,
Yeah,
because it's for someone who doesn't follow it too closely. You kind of just assume Bayern's gonna run away with it. Granted, 6-7 games in, still a lot of season to be played, but Leverkusen doesn't look like they're going away.
yeah, and I think they have like two less teams than the other like big leagues in the
Yeah, it's
world. I think they
18
only play 34. Yeah,
or 18 teams
opposed
rather.
to 38. Not that that makes a huge difference, but that is four less games, less wear on the players. But yeah, I'm finally excited. I like everyone. I was hoping at some point it'd be Dortmund, but clearly they can't figure it out. You thought like maybe Leipzig was going to be the one to do it at some point just because the way they've come up and have money, but they haven't been able to get past Bayern Munich. And turns out it's going to be ex Bayern Munich legend Xabi Alonso leading the charge with Bayer Leverkusen, which I'm so ready for. I was telling Morgan we went to the crew game the other week, just like it was halftime, just like scrolling through the scores or whatever. And I was like, geez, dude, like Bayern Leverkusen is like a serious problem at this point. Because there are teams that like they'll start going off and then like they start to get figured out and they kind of still become like a good team, but they're not as dominant. But man, like Leverkusen, I can't even name. It's not even like they have like these massive names. Obviously, like Florian Wirtz is like the big wonder kid, like the Kai Havertz heir at Leverkusen. But yeah, it's exciting and genuinely like you said, like I need to follow it more and stuff like this where it's close and like you hear the things like yeah, Leverkusen the only points they've dropped was to Bayern and I think they drew, not even like they lost. Like that gets me way more interested in the league and makes me want to follow it more. So I'm rooting for sorry Evan if you're listening right now, but rooting for Leverkusen. I like switching it up. I like the parity of the league. So
I'm 100% with you there. I was just out of curiosity, I was just scrolling through the Bundesliga kind of like statistic leaders and everything. And it's kind of crazy here. The leading goal scorer in the Bundesliga is this dude from Stuttgart, Serhao Geyer. I'm not even going to try and say it, but he's got 13 goals in
Jeez.
7 games. So, next time I see Stuttgart play, I'm just going to be hammering, the goals for this guy on
Yeah,
the line.
that's
But then
that's
they got
nuts.
Leverkusen's leading goal scorer, Victor Boniface. I'm hoping I said that correctly.
Yeah,
He's third with 7 goals behind Harry Kane. And then they got another guy, Jonas Hoffman, who's got 4 goals too. So, the goals are coming for him.
yeah, and it's interesting that Stuttgart's where they're at because I could have swore last year they were like I don't know
Relegation,
close to
right?
like yeah a relegation
Candidates, at
team.
least.
Yeah, but it's weird. Like I feel like baseball is a sport like that where like one year you could be like absolute garbage, and then all of a sudden the next year you're like really good. Feels
Wow,
like Stuttgart's
they
kind of
were in the
like that, but
playoff. They were
the
in like because
relegation playoff.
yeah, because Bundesliga has that relegation playoff, and they were
Yeah,
16th.
and they barely see that's like that's always a shocker to me. Like NFL's like I feel like the NFL you can't obviously there's like surprises every year where teams like overperform, but like it's never like you were absolute garbage and then literally over the course of a couple months, not even like a full year, obviously, because like league ends, a couple months off. Start of the new year, you're like up there with like the best of the best in the league. Yeah, good for Stuttgart. Hopefully, again, like the more competition at the top, like the more fun it is, and good for Stuttgart. I don't know anyone but Bayern this year, please.
Yeah,
Maybe
definitely.
Leipzig because they kind of no one really likes Leipzig because they violated the 50
Yeah,
or the 49 one, whatever the rule is.
right.
But
The only saving grace for if Bayern does win is that I guess Harry Kane will finally have a trophy. The memes would just be so crazy if Bayern doesn't
yeah,
win the league this year. The memes would be going so
dude.
crazy all summer.
Yeah, I can't see them winning the Champions League, so I'm not even going to rule them in that. If they somehow bottle the league, because every year if Bayern's not winning it, I'm counting as a bottle just because of how big they are and how dominant.
Right.
And then somehow like it takes like one game to get knocked out of the Pokal, the DFK Pokal tournament. So and then somehow if because Spurs are in only 2 competitions now, right? Because they got knocked
Yeah.
out of
FA.
Carabao. If they can just pull out one of those, like I honestly kind of feel bad for Harry Kane because
Right.
like
He'd be
the memes are
fuming.
coming. Yeah, people are going at him, but especially if Spurs somehow win the league, that would be
Oh my God. Oh my God, man.
yeah.
That'd be so. And then England wins the World Cup like the minute he retires.
Uh, or just
It would just prove it's him all along.
yeah, it's no longer the Spurs curse; it's the Harry
It's
Kane
the Harry
curse.
Kane curse, literally.
Uh,
But I mean, we got a little bit of break here. This international break. There'll be some Euro qualifiers, and I think the CONMEBOL Copa America combination thing.
qualifier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so obviously the other cups as well, per their region, of course. But there might be some excitement going on. I think I actually saw a rumor that said, I don't know the truth to this, but I think before Ronaldo left for Portugal, I think I saw something where he said he wants to sign an extension with Al Nassr and stay until 2027 because he wants to play with them and go through the 2026 World Cup, and then he's going to retire.
That is
So
wild.
that would be
Like,
interesting. He's what, 37, so he'll be 38 next year, 2024. He'll be
yeah,
40 by the time it happens. I mean, we've seen
yeah,
crazier things, but with the way he played in the last World Cup, I don't know if he's
yeah.
got some
Especially
kind
like
of
the talent Portugal has. Like, I kind of felt bad for him early on in his career. Like, Portugal just, it was like him, and that was it. When he was really young, they had like the Figos, but he was old. But yeah, for like prime Ronaldo up until like the end, like Portugal wasn't like a great team. Like, look at the team that won the Euros. Like, it's pretty impressive that they did win the Euros with that squad. But yeah, that'll be interesting. Like, what if he makes it, if he's still like physically able to play, like what they do, like is it still like his name gonna be like obviously it's always gonna be a massive name, but big enough to like warrant like you have to play this guy in a World Cup, like
yeah.
especially with the talent again that Portugal have. So I don't know, it'll be interesting.
I wonder if Messi will play in that World Cup too, because
Uh yeah, I'm curious too. There's rumors that he's not gonna sign again with Inter Miami. He's gonna be done in like 2025. But yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, if I think Argentina go through, win Copa America, like,
he'll probably
and
keep
he's still
going.
feeling good, like, why not take one more run, especially now that I'm stupid. For some reason, I was thinking the one where the 100-year
Oh yeah, no,
reunion.
he'll
Yeah,
be gone by
yeah, that'll
then. He'll
be,
definitely.
yeah. Well, he is the GOAT.
He is the
But
goat. Yeah.
speaking of Copa America, and like the international stuff, I'm excited. Obviously, always doesn't matter who we play to see the baby Eagles, the Americans, how they do. Gio's back in the squad, so it'll be interesting to see the return of Berhalter and Gio Reyna together. But I think the most important part is just how good everyone's been playing. Like, I'm not sure who we're playing against, what the schedule looks like, if we're even playing. I'm sure we probably are. But yeah, I just want to see like Christian Pulisic staying healthy, playing really well. Combine that with Balogun scoring goals, which, by the way, Arsenal chose the wrong striker to keep.
Yeah.
Balogun better than Nketiah, but that's neither here nor there. Gio coming back from injury. We'll see how he looked. Musa, all the boys. Just wish Tyler Adams was healthy again, but
Who does the United States play? Do you know off the top of your head?
I have no idea. I'm not. Which, by the way, I see a lot of hate for. Oh, we played Germany on October 14th, and
Is that
then
like
Ghana.
is that a friendly?
Why does it say we play? I think so. Yeah, friendly against Germany on the 14th, and then against Ghana on the 17th. Both friendlies, both good competition. Hopefully, Ghana
Oh, I get
obviously.
it. Because neither team
Yeah,
has to qualify since both teams are hosting.
yeah,
That makes sense. Maybe
yeah.
Ghana's hosting the like African Cup.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how any of this works. Yeah. And then mid-November, we'll have Nation League qualifiers. So I thought for sure we'd have some kind of like world. Oh no, wait. Like you just said, we don't have to qualify for anything
Yeah, it's
recently.
nice.
Like
It's pretty
everything's
nice.
here. Yeah, always excited to see the baby Eagles, especially now because I think we're like
Yeah.
ranked 11th, and I could be wrong. Between 11 and 15. I don't know. Good ranking. Good team. Excited. A lot of soccer to be watched.
All right, we got a minute and 20 seconds left. Real quick. The 2030 World Cup was announced to be in Morocco, Spain, and Portugal. First three games are going to be in South America, Uruguay, Argentina, and Paraguay. Quick thoughts, 1 minute and 6 seconds. What do you got?
I think super exciting. It's crazy that it's been 100 years of the World Cup. I think they did it right in a way by giving those nations a spot, but it should have been completely played there because that is the home of soccer in South America.
I agree. If you were going to do it, three countries in North America, three countries in Europe and Africa, you should just give it to South America and let them have the host. It seems like they're just trying to hurry up and get to Saudi Arabia 2034, which, that's a whole nother conversation that we definitely don't have time for. So
Yeah,
we're just
but we
going
will get to that next week.
yeah, we'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you for that Saudi Arabia conversation next week with a few seconds to spare.